You know, I said this last Monday, and it feels good to be able to say it for the second Monday in a row. It just feels better when the Chicago Bears get a win, doesn't it? We're going to talk about the takeaways from the Chicago Bears win over the Las Vegas Raiders, and we're going to dive into the mailbag, all that and more, right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go and get into this content for today, y'all. I want to start talking about comments from Ben Johnson after the game. And yeah, he had a 2-sentence explanation of 2025 for the Chicago Bears, where I feel this is important and Bears fans need to hear this. It's easy to get frustrated, but we don't panic. That's not who we are. That's not what we do. And I think Bears fans everywhere need to hear this to varying degrees, depending on the Bears fan, right? Again, it's easy to get frustrated, but we don't panic. That's not who we are, and that's not what we do. Now, that may be lost on a lot of people. I mean, Steve-O is one of the hosts of this channel, and we all know Steve-O's patience with the Chicago teams that are all-time low. But, like, when you look at this team and the fact that they are truly trying to build a culture, and that takes time. I get it. You know, you draft a quarterback number 1 overall. You turn around the year after that, and then you sign one of the hottest assistants on the market, and it leads our coordinators on the market, and it leads a lot of Bears fans to think and believe that this thing means it's going to turn around all in one day. Rome was not built in a day. It's not going to take a single season to just turn the Chicago Bears around to where we want them to be. What you want to see is progress. And then through making that progress, you want to see how much you consistently do the things that you are, the right things, the winning things, right? And yesterday was a completely ugly game for the Chicago Bears, but I think it was a character-building win for that team to be able to win. You have to be able to win the ugly games. Now, you want some of those ugly games to come against opponents that are better and things like that. But overall, any given Sunday, any team could win on any given Sunday. And because of that, each game is its own microcosm. And what the Bears showed in yesterday's game was that they showed the right mentality to close out a game. And that's not always something that we've seen. The defense that gave up almost 250 yards on the ground, they got the run stop when it mattered the most. That third down attempt to Ashton Denty, when they stuffed him there to force the field goal that they ended up missing, that was determination. That was grit. And, you know, yeah, there was some luck that broke on the Chicago Bears side as well. But guess what? That's with every single game. You look at the takeaways that we had in that game, causing 4 turnovers for the Raiders in that game to our only 1, right? Caleb Williams and the performance he played in the second half of the game versus the first half, and him having a game-winning drive as well. Things seem to be changing here. Now, I get it, and I've always given credit to the pessimistic Bears fans that look at it and views and say that we're not there yet, right? And we got a lot of things that we need to do, that we need to continue to grow. But, you know, I think you're looking at some things that Ben Johnson is succeeding where some other Bears coaches have definitely failed at, right? And that's something that you got to go. And, like, when you listen to what Caleb Williams said, that Ben Johnson said to him before that last drive, where he said this.
To be honest, in that moment, Ben came over to me right before, and he goes, these are times that you're made for. So, you know, it provided, belief and confidence that he has in me. And then from there, I went to the huddle and, looked everybody in the eyes, and, this is the moment. This is where we go win the game. And, just trying to be as composed. Obviously, we had a negative play on that drive that set us back, I think, 10 yards on the holding, and just being composed, trying to be as calm as possible for those guys and look everybody in the eyes and understand that this is our moment. This is where we go win the game.
You know, and that's showing the confidence that Ben Johnson is instilling in his players and how he is succeeding where some other coaches have failed for the Chicago Bears and not being able to get stuff like that done. He got it done, right? And so I love hearing stuff like this because, you know, you're on the road against a team that has been kicking your ass the entirety of and I can't even say a team. Maxx Crosby gave the Bears some absolute work and gave them some things they really need to look at. Hell, they caused us to switch tackles. You know, we see what's going on with Braxton Jones, to switch sides. And listen, Credit to Ben Johnson, Dan Roushar, whoever made that call, because switching those sides, putting Theo Benedict on the other side, bringing in Ozzy Trapillo, that was one of the things that seemingly helped spark us find some rhythm offensively. No doubt that the Bears have to find their way to get consistency out of this offense and have an identity. But this team and the culture that we're building here is palpable. And you look at it, 69 yards on 11 plays that was capped off by a touchdown to DeAndre Swift. And, that was after those words from Ben Johnson, and the Bears were able to get it. And so you look at, Caleb Williams accounted for 60 of those yards throughout that drive with it throughout the air and with his legs, just making plays for the Chicago Bears. And that's what you need to see from your quarterback. Was it pretty? Was it great? No, the hell it was not. But it was needed. And that's what the Bears were able to do in that game. And I love that the Bears are going into this bye week 2-2. Most of you guys have been listening to us for a while, knows that was a mark for me for this Bears team. You did not want to go into the bye week down 1-3. You wanted to go in as close to 500 as possible. The Bears found a way to get that done, and I got to give them credit for that. So as we do on every Monday after the game, let's look at some of the players that stood out both negatively and positively, definitely positively in the game. And we got to give the first one to Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard had himself a game. If you're looking at somebody who was the MVP on the defensive side of the ball, that was Kevin Byard. 7 tackles that he had, 1 tackle for a loss, 2 interceptions in the first half. And, you look at it, Kevin Byard has 3 interceptions in just the last 2 games, and it's really good. He held Geno Smith to a 117 passing yards and forced 3 interceptions. And so, Kevin Byard had a big part in instilling the identity of this defense and the way that they needed to play over it. Kevin Byard made some really good plays yesterday, and you got to give him credit for that one, right? And then you also got to give it to Josh Blackwell. Him blocking a field goal that helped put the Bears in position. It was a 54-yard field goal attempt, and he blocked that, and that's really good. It came up clutch in a game where you need him to come up clutch in, and got to give him tons of credit for it. The other guy, for the second week in a row, Tyrique Stevenson, another winner for the Chicago Bears. He stepped up so much in the last 2 weeks that it's almost night and day throughout how the first 2 weeks went for Tyrique Stevenson. And you look at us missing Terrell Smith, Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, like those are all 3 of our top 4 cornerbacks, our top cornerbacks based off last year. Him and Terrell and Tyrique split those snaps. Jalen Johnson's our number 1, Kyler Gordon's the nickel. And, Tyrique Stevenson on the last 2 weeks has really helped step up and provide some of what we need, of course, in coverage. And that's what it comes down to. He picked off Geno Smith on one as well. And it was really good to see Tyrique Stevenson have another big day as well. He had 6 tackles, 2 pass breakups to go along with the interception. And Tyrique Stevenson has been a player that has really played much better for the Chicago Bears as of late. And you got to give him credit for that. I don't know how you can take anything away other than that. And I got to give it to Caleb Williams as well on that game-winning drive. I mean, you just got to look at it. When most of the yards come from you making plays with your arms or with your legs, was it an overall great game for Caleb? No, it wasn't. And it wasn't an overall great game for the offense. But Caleb Williams led the Chicago Bears down the field when we needed leading the most. And that's always going to be something I give it credit for. When you are able to do what you need to do when you do it, when you need to do it. And that's what Caleb Williams did yesterday. Had a really big day to end that game for the Chicago Bears, and we needed every bit of it. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, because there are a number of players that we got to talk about and that we got to start being concerned about. What the fuck was that from Cole Kmet? I mean, just being 100% frank, he had one of his worst career games and one of the worst times after, Colson Loveland being sidelined, him being targeted the most times on the day was Cole Kmet. He just did not give us the performance that we need. He had a bunch of drops, right? He committed multiple penalties at a time as well that helped pin the Bears back at times when we didn't need it. And you look at the beginning of the second quarter where Cole Kmet dropped what was a great pass from Caleb Williams, and that would have set us up for, to be first and goal at the 5-yard line had he not dropped that pass. That's directly Cole Kmet. And then a fumble, a sack, and a punt after that as well. So it completely killed the drive. Cole Kmet was one of the reasons the Bears could not find the necessary rhythm that they needed to find over that game. And I can't overlook Cole Kmet in this one. He was bad overall. And then the biggest negative is the Bears' defensive line. I mean, both in the pass rush and both the run game, the front 7 in the run game, it wasn't good at all. It wasn't good at all. I know that we held Geno Smith to 117 passing yards, forced 4 turnovers, which is really good for a defense overall. But you look at that run defense, man. Ashton Jeanty had his breakout game as an NFL player. 138 yards on 21 carries. He averaged 6.6 yards per carry. He had one touchdown that was a long run on a touchdown, but the Bears gave up so many long runs. Just talking about multiple 20-yard runs, a 64-yard run. Like, the Bears just gave up so much big time. And then we didn't stop the receivers either when we really needed it as well. That was Ashton Jeanty, who made plays there also. Allowed 240 yards rushing. No sacks at all last night. I think we had 2 QB hits. The defensive line right now is in shambles. And you look at the money that we're paying. I said this on, the post-game show yesterday. Like, we're paying 30 or almost 40 something $million, 42-ish million, I think, to Dio Odeyingbo and Montez Sweat, and you look at, like, next year is going to be $45 million with Dio's contract ballooning up to $20 million. Like, it just, the money that we've spent on that defensive line is not showing the results on the football field, and that continues to be such a bad standout for the Chicago Bears team. Our run defense is atrocious, and I just don't know, with how many yards we're allowing running consistently, how much that defense is going to be able to do what it needs to do if we keep allowing that. So we got to get that together. And then the other one, let's flip it on the other side. The Bears running offense is absolute trash. 69 total yards. DeAndre Swift with 14 carries, 38 yards. Kyle Monangai had 4 yards at 18 carries for an average of 4.5 yards per carry. Caleb Williams, 18 carries for 16 yards. And we got to find a way to get the ground game going. If we don't, this offense is going to be one-dimensional for the entirety of the year, which is going to make us even more easy to defend. We got to tighten that part up. If we don't tighten up, it's going to be a long, ugly-ass season for the Chicago Bears, period, point blank. There's no other way around it. The Bears got to tighten up. They got to find a running game somewhere on this team and just do it consistently. And if they don't, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be disgusting, and we're not going to be the offense that we have the potential of being for a talent. We got to find a place to get there, and we'll see what happens to that when it comes down to. But with that said, there is, of course, speculation of DJ Moore and being traded and his usage, and I'm honestly tired of talking about it. I know a lot of people are going to bring it up. Colin Cowherd, of course, brought it up. He said this: I wouldn't be shocked, DJ Moore. Trade deadline, Seattle needs a receiver and a veteran presence. Keep your eye on that. Listen, if DJ Moore is moved, it is what it is, right? I of the place that I get it. You targeted DJ Moore a lot more today. Last night. You're still trying to use him in the run game. You're trying to find ways creatively to free him up and get the ball in his hands. And I commend, Ben Johnson for trying to find that. But I'm not at the place still where I want to see DJ Moore traded. But at this point, if they decide to do so, you better damn well either be shoring up the running game or the pass rush. And at this point, right, my desire to see us blossom with the weapons that we have and give Caleb Williams continued weapons that we have, I can't deny it. If they were able to swing DJ Moore and try to find an edge, to try to find a running back, I don't know if I think that was necessarily the worst thing off for this team. I just don't know, right? Because, like I said, those two things are going to continue to really hurt the Chicago Bears if we can't tighten them up. So let's hope that that's coming sooner rather than later. With that said, let's go ahead and get into the mailbag. Mondays are always for, game reactions. We got 3 voicemails, 2 first-time callers. Let's go ahead and get into this first one. This one's from Nate.
Yo, what it do? It's Nate Dogg from the 509 out here in the 503, but I just want to go ahead and get started with, hey, what a win. What a win. It was a very motherfucking tough win, but hey, we got the job done. That's all I really needed to, really say. Maxx Crosby, whoa. Maxx Crosby, he's one hell of a man. Definitely a solid defender. A lot of people don't really talk about him too much when it comes to, that dominating defense just because of the struggles that the Raiders have been having. But, hey, man, I want to say those rookies, they sure as hell held it down when we needed it the most, I don't know exactly what happened to Braxton Jones. Or, situations just happened where one player got to move to another side and he was a little bit better on the other side. But getting rid of Braxton Jones, it seemed like everything was working after that, and, man, let me tell you, them boys, them Bears, shit, we held down, we did what we needed to do, secured the win. Of course, that running game, we still want to, get that going and get it cracking and shit, but, first and foremost, offense, it was a little bit of struggles, but Caleb Williams, I'm glad he was reading what he needs to read. And, you know, I don't want to go ahead and say Cole Kmet, you know, off with him and stuff. He's a solid tight end, and he's always been representing with us, you know. It's hard when you're not always getting those connections, getting those passes when you were doing it, you know, in the past and stuff. But, you know, he's doing what he needs to do, and he had a good game for us last week, so let's not hold him to it, you know. So, like I said, I just want to hop on here and shit, you know, be representing and shit Chi-Town. I'm over here in Oregon, but, you know, we be repping Chi-Town and stuff. We've got all them haters going to be heading to work on Monday, and, you know, damn well they're going to be talking about them motherfucking Bears. So, you know, bear down, Chi-Town, let's get it going.
Listen, Bears getting the job done is the right way. I mean, they got the job done. It was an ugly win, but you need wins like this. And I think these are the wins that if you can grind out these wins, you slowly start. This is what teaches your team the way how to win close games. This is what teaches your team how to stand up when it's needed the most. These are, like I said, character-building wins. And that's what last night could very well be for the Chicago Bears. And let's hope that. As far as Maxx Crosby, seeing Maxx Crosby last night be the reason why, single-handedly disrupting everything the Bears wanted to do offensively in the first half of that game made me realize, and that's like when I said in the last segment, if they trade DJ Moore for the right edge, I can't even be mad at it because I want that on this Bears team. I wish we had a transcendent player like that on this defense somewhere that just single-handedly wreaked havoc on offenses and just put us in a situation where you're like, hey, look at what they did. Like, Maxx Crosby did everything last night in the first half, and I just wish we had a player like that in the Bears uniform. It would change so much for Dennis Allen and the Chicago Bears to have a player like that in a Bears uniform. Poles, go and get him. Not Max. Oh, shit, if you can get him, get him. But find a player like that. We talk about Ryan Poles needing home run acquisitions. Listen, we need a player like that. That's what we need. And we'll see what Austin Booker can do as he comes back as well. So let's see that. All right, let's get into this next one, man. This one's from Ty.
Yo, CBC, this is TY. Man. Excitement. You know what I'm saying? That we finally got the almost like the confirmation that Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, they are actually molding and working together well. We got the pieces right. Not every win is going to be beautiful. Not every win is going to be Dallas, okay? But most definitely, we got to find a way to get it done. And I will say, granted, it wasn't perfect for the offense, but man, that defense, for them to have a lackluster performance against Detroit and you know what I'm saying, almost have a lackluster performance against Detroit until that second half. I mean, not Detroit, but Dallas, that second half. Man, like I said, man, Tyrique Stevenson, he's doing his thing. He's really trying to prove that, you know what I'm saying, that thing that happened last year, that little fail Mary, he like, nah, that's in my past and I'm way better than that. And I really appreciate that from this defense, bro. We was missing a lot of people and they still couldn't contain us. Now I will say this. Ashton Genty, that boy is good. Good. But luckily, you know what I'm saying, our defense was able to hold up, you know what I'm saying, long enough and stay strong in there to where we was able to finish out that game. And man, I don't need nobody to be talking ish about Caleb, bro. I know Caleb, he had his ups and downs, but when he was throwing to his guys and where he needed it to be, some of them wasn't catching the ball, i.e. Cole Kmet. He needs to get it together. But for the most part, man, I'm happy that, you know what I'm saying, the young guys are showing that they're here, that they're doing their thing. Ozzie Trapillo showing that he's a monster on that right side, and Theo Benedict actually holding down that left side. So, yo, Braxton Jones, I'm not mad about it, but sayonara, bro. It's okay, bro. You know what I'm saying? You've gotten your bread. You made money. You made more money than anybody out here. Now it's time for somebody who's really wanting to play and wanting to win to be in these positions to win. So, like I said, man, we did it. That's all I gotta say. We did it. But as always, it's Chicago up and bear down. Let's get it.
I don't know if we have all the right pieces right now. I do think that we have some of them, and that we have pieces that you can definitely build with. And as we continue to grow, we're going to get there. We're building something here in Chicago, and I feel confident in the direction we're going. Now we got some things that we definitely need to shore up, both with what we have in this roster and also finding some things that we're missing. Absolutely, but I think we're taking steps in the right direction. As far as the defense did what it needed to do at the right time. And that's what a defense is for. They played and made the right plays at the right time and grounded out that win. Tyrique Stevenson seems very motivated and driven to make an impact for this team, and not in the sense of like, let it be all on me, let me get the praise. No, more so that my team needs me to make plays. I'm going to go out there and make plays, and I commend Tyrique Stevenson for doing that. And the same thing for Caleb Williams. He killed it on that last drive. He made plays. He made plays with his arms. He made plays with his legs. And the Bears were able to grind it out. And that's how you get character building wins. And let's hope that these type of things continue. Let's hope that ugly wins like this aren't needed as much. Let's tighten some things up in the bye week. And let's see what the future holds. All right, let's get into this last voicemail, man. This one is from Old Faithful. This one's from Keys.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Keys on this lovely Sunday night, man. I hope all is well with you and yours. With that being said, let's get to it. Man, that was an ugly game, and we could have had 40 points. It didn't even have to come to that, but I love the resilience, how we made the choice to finish off the game, man. And we stood tall no matter what happened. Defense played really, really well. We had some plays that was made. We held them to 98 yards, I think, passing. I don't know. We didn't get no sacks. We gave up over 200 yards rushing. And we have to be better in the run. And I'm very critical of our line, especially the defensive line, because I played it in college, high school, everything like that. And I know that when you have a good line up front and you can stop the run, it does a lot for your team. And we just don't have that right now. I really feel like our D tackles have to play better. Javon has to play better. Yeah, Billings made some plays early in the game, but as the game progressed and you let a running back get going like Ashton Jency, all he needs is one. And then they feel like, ooh, it's a gaping hole. We just going to keep gashing them, and they give the offensive line a chance to, make those plays. But luckily, Geno Smith, he made those interceptions, so we capitalized on them. We got 6 points, I believe, off of turnovers and everything like that. Tyrique Stevenson, man, big game. Kevin Byard, you may get NFC Defensive Player of the Week, making big plays out there. But the offense is progressing, and as nobody wants to hear this, but we have to be patient because there's going to be ups and downs. Of course, we want consistency. That's the main thing during this bye week. I think Ben Johnson has to look at what is being consistent with this team. We need to figure out ways to get Kyle Monangai more rushes, man. There's no way he should just have 4 carries, 15 yards. He give me 4.5 or 5. We need to get him some more carries. Just that simple. But we have some drive killers and everything of that nature like that. But hey, Caleb put the team on his back. Swift made some plays. Cole Kmet could have had some more plays. He was very up and down as well, but he did make some big plays for us. And Caleb was able to focus in a little bit more on getting him the ball. And I think it may be something said where we might have a switch with the tackles, man. Because Ozzie Shapiro, when he got up in there, he was able to neutralize Maxx Crosby a little bit. But do you think we should trade for Jeffrey Simmons? But with that being said, man, let me know what you think. As always, shout y'all up, bear down.
More pressure in run defense is one of the biggest concerns. Like more pressure in the pass rush, more consistency in run defense. We just need to tighten that whole aspect up. The defensive line right now is stealing money. Everybody. And listen, I can try to make certain cases. The only one who gets a pass is maybe Billings. Billings came in and started yesterday and did an admirable job. And he's been regulated to the bench. But I'll tell you what, like this defensive line needs something, and it needs something quick because it's not looking good. It's not looking even fundamental at times. This is bad, and it's been ugly. And so we'll see if that continues for the Bears, and they can tighten it up because if they can, you can get it. I think also when you give up the run the way that the Bears do, it just makes everything more difficult on you defensively. Every single thing it makes it more difficult for you defensively. So we got to see if we can get there. We got to get there. It's just period, point blank. As far as your last thing, patience is hard for Bears fans because, they carry a lot of baggage and they're carrying a lot of what we've had with other regimes into this one. And it's fair. It is what it is, right? But you got to see that progression. You got to see that consistency. You got to see that we're actually moving in the right direction in some areas. Like there's some that aren't moving. The running game has been trashed. The run defense has been trashed, but we are making progress in other areas. And now let's see how we come out the bye week and capitalize off that. And hopefully we're in a much better position at that point in time. But that's my time for today, y'all. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You can send, that's my time for today, y'all. You guys can follow us at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.